So Jonathan got it. Did you get it, Martin?
I think so. I'll have to double check. I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay. If you guys don't have a Dropbox, it's free. Just go out to Dropbox.com, sign in, and as soon as you sign in, you're going to see that I've invited you to share one of my folders. Everything that I'm going to talk to you about ever is in that folder. And in fact, there will be a YouTube video of today's call in that folder. So you'll be able to see everything. You'll be able to go out. If you can't see us right now, Chuck and Jonathan, you'll be able to go to YouTube later on today and actually watch the whole thing and see my screen and see my pretty face and all that stuff. So if you guys are good with it, if anybody doesn't have any immediate needs, I'm going to mute you all so that we cut the background noise and kind of go through my announcements. Now, if you look down on the lower left of this application, and you don't have it, but if you dadgummit, that kind of creates a problem. Is anybody hearing any bad background noise right now?
No.
No?
Yeah. Hey,
Jonathan,
what's our password? It says email address and password. What's our password? Is it the meeting code?
yes, the meeting code,
Maybe
which
that's
I
why
can.
I can't see.
Let me see if I.
What is it?
I can't back up into the meeting code. It's too late for me to tell you what it is because I've already
I got it. I got
logged
it.
in.
Hold on. All right, keep going. I'll mute my phone.
Okay. All right. So if anybody needs to talk, just try the chat button. If the chat button doesn't work because you can't log into the website for some reason, then just shoot me a text and I will unmute you. But I'm going to mute everybody for the time being. All right. So there's a couple of announcements I want to talk about. Number one, we've already covered it. It's the Dropbox. If you don't have a subscription to Dropbox, and forgive me if I mess up a few words, guys. The biggest remaining challenge that I have from getting sick last week is that I struggle for a word sometimes. I can't get them out. So forgive me for my clumsy speech. So Dropbox is free. If you don't have a Dropbox, just go to Dropbox.com and join. And as soon as you join, you're going to see that I have invited you to share a Dropbox with me. And it's got all the information, applications, marketing materials, the presentation. Today's webinar will be on a YouTube video on the Dropbox. So we're going to build a pretty substantial library over time, and we're going to archive all these meetings because ultimately these meetings are designed so that you and I can share with each other how we are growing as sales producers, and so as we grow and we bring new agents on, they'll be able to go back in time and learn from what we, the hard knocks that we've taken, and hopefully they'll have an easier road than we are. So that's that. Second, when you get to the Dropbox, you will notice that there is a brand new Social Security form out there. That Social Security form is required whenever we use a Direct Express card, which is issued by the Social Security Administration as a form of payment. I have included that form for you to download and print. It's in the Dropbox. If you can't get to the Dropbox for some reason, let me know and I'll email you a copy of it. It's not out on the portal yet, at least not that I can find. But that's going to be required. And if I were you, I'd start using it today. Are there any questions on the Social Security form? None. Okay, pay dates. We had a question about pay dates a few days ago, so I've been on the phone with contracting, and here's how pay works. We get paid daily on advances. So for example, if you have a policy that issues tomorrow or Monday is going to be 17th, I think. If you have a policy that issues Monday, you're going to get paid Monday. Takes a day or two for it to filter through your bank, but really a bank issue more than it is a Security National issue. Now, when you get to the out months 9, 10, or months 10, 11, and 12, if you, for example, have a 75% advance, when you get to the out months, you will be paid on the 1st and the 15th. All of your annual renewals that come in starting month 13 get paid on the 1st and the 15th. But your advances are still paid daily. Does anybody have any questions about that? No. Okay. So we've covered the Dropbox. We've covered the Social Security form. We've covered pay dates. You all are eligible for our Sales Club Award. You've probably seen emails from Tommy, or you probably see it on the front page of the portal when you log in. You qualify at $65,000 a year. You guys are going to well exceed that. We do. We have a prize, which is a very nice gold ring with different levels of diamonds in it as you progress as a salesperson at Security National. That starts at $90,000 in annual premium in a year. So just be aware there are lots of details on these sales contests that are out there in the portal. Now, October is our biggest month. That's our founders month. We celebrate the founding of our company every October, and we do it with some phenomenal sales contests that you guys will be able to participate in. By then, you're going to be up and running and selling a lot of insurance. So just be prepared. I mean, the contests are crazy. It's stuff like for a week, everybody who submits an app gets an extra $20 or something like that. And if you're running these leads hard, and you're going to have a lot of leads, you've already got a lot of leads. You should be making several $100s a week extra working these contests. And then we have big grand prizes and things like that. So get ready for October. We're going to have a big month, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Any questions on Founders Month? Okay. The web app. You guys are frustrated with the web app. I know that. And I'm a little frustrated with it too, and so is the home office. Here's where we stand right now. The web app only works on tablets. It doesn't work on phones. We have tried it a million different ways between you guys and me and the folks over in the IT department. It just gets gummed up when we try to use it with a phone. So we're using it with tablets. None of you have tablets. I'm the only one that has one. However, I promised each of you that when you hit certain sales goals that I would reimburse you if you went out and bought a tablet. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to figure out if it works on Androids, because I know it works on Apple products. My iPad will kick out one of those web apps in just a few minutes. So that's kind of where we are for right now. None of you guys have access to the web app. But as soon as you hit the sales goal and you go out and buy yourself an iPad, then it'll work. And we're testing it on Android as well. I know a lot of people prefer Android to Apple. In fact, I'm one of those people. But I don't have the freedom. I'm using company equipment. So there we go on the web app. So stand by for that. Okay. We are testing it on Android today. Martin's helping me with that, and hopefully we'll have some good news on that. So let's see. Next on the list is production. Year to date, the legacy division is at $63,000 in annual premium production. Now that's one agent, me, working not even quarter time this year. Producing, because I spend all my time putting this whole program together. However, about 20,000 of that's in the last 5 or 6 weeks, which is when you guys started coming on board. So I fully expect us to start putting up numbers that are closer to just the four of us will be putting up numbers that match our yearly production to date. Every month. We'll be doing 60 or more every month, probably starting in the next week or two. So good. That's good. Let's talk individuals. So far this month, Stephen, that's me, has produced $1,044 in annual premium, and I know you guys are all jealous, but I had a stroke. I had a stroke 3 days after the month started, so I'm gonna give myself a little pass on that. Our weekly results. Martin's our leader so far with $3,119 in production this week. Jonathan has $2,485 in production this week. Chuck hasn't been getting any leads yet, so he's brand new, and I got sick right before as I was trying to get leads into his hands. For the month, today is the 14th. For the month, Martin is at $5,874 in production. He's going to have an $11,000 or $12,000 month this month. So that's what happens under this program, and I'm so proud of Martin. And let me tell you guys a little story. About 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, Martin's been using. Here's the bottom line. Martin has been using for the last 3 or 4 weeks leads that are 2 months old, and he has been digging and searching and finding those sales. All month this month, Martin has not had any new leads. Martin has been using leads that were 6 or 7 weeks old, sometimes older than that, and he has managed to put together. He's on track to put together an $11,000 or $12,000 month this month, and that's just a testament of his dedication, his hard work. He's getting fresh leads now. He's and I expect his numbers to go even higher because I was able to send over quite a few fresh leads for him this week, and that's going to continue forever. So congratulations, Martin, and guys. If you want to know how this is done, give Martin a call. Find out what his secret is, because he really doesn't have a secret. The guy just works hard, and he's turning his hard work into good money. So, Martin, have you got anything you'd like to say about that? I'm putting you on the spot.
Just work hard.
What'd you say?
Just work hard.
That's it. That's the key. Work hard. Now, Martin had a slow start, just like I did when I got into the final expense business. There's a little bit of a learning curve. There's a little bit of nervousness and just kind of getting comfortable in your own skin that takes place. And Martin is starting to turn the corner, and he's getting to where he makes sales, and he's not. He's not concentrating on are my leads the best leads, or my leads the freshest leads, or my leads in the right neighborhood. He just works the leads, and I promise you guys, the leads Martin's been working for the last 2 weeks are no better than the ones that you got that any of us have. In fact, they're probably worse because they're a month or 2 or 3 old. Martin's been working leads from May. And making this kind of money with them. So congratulations, Martin. That's it for my announcements. I'm going to unmute you guys and ask if there's anybody that has any questions about any of the announcements I've covered so far. No. Okay. Well, let's get into the presentations. There's 2 main things that I want to cover today. And the first one is kind of a product overview. What kind of products do we have at Security National Life? Okay. Can everybody see my slides here? If you can't log into the computer, then this will be uploaded to YouTube later on today.
So you're even better looking than I remember.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a curse, really. It's a burden. Can you see me yet, Chuck?
I'm trying it again.
Well, don't stress yourself out over it. Like I said, I'm going to share all this stuff with you. You're going to be able to see it on YouTube in a little while, so don't freak out about it. All right, so the whoa, who's that?
Oh.
Okay, that was Martin, but I've muted him. Guys, do me a favor, mute your own phones for the time being, so that I can get through this. If you need to talk to us, just unmute and let it rip. Okay, so our product overview. We have basically 4 products that we sell at Security National Life. The first one is our flagship product. It's the Simple Security Plan. That's what 95% of your business is going to be the Simple Security Plan. Next, we have the Security Care Plan. You're going to sell a few of these. You're going to sell them to people that are under 40 years old. You're going to use this when you need to have a child rider, or just write a child policy, a standalone policy for a child. The Security Care Plan is the plan you're going to use. Also, some people, although we try to talk them out of it because it's not a good deal, we will be using this plan if they've got it in their head that they've got to have an accidental death policy, because we pay double indemnity on accidental death for the first 10 years with the Security Care Plan, and in some states we actually pay triple indemnity. So just be aware of that. We do use this plan, but not much. The third plan you see here is the MIB plan. The MIB plan is almost a guaranteed issue plan. It's for folks that have some pretty serious health problems. I've never used one, so I don't know what to tell you. I don't have any experience with it, but you use the same application as the Security Care Plan. Finally, we have our eye care plan. You guys don't have access to the application. If you need an application, let me know. And this is not a one-stop sale like a final expense plan that we're normally used to. This is a fully underwritten product. So it's going to be kind of a long sales cycle anyway. So if you run into a situation where you feel that the person is healthy enough and they need enough insurance to go through the fully underwritten route, then we'll put together a proposal, just like you would do with a traditional life insurance policy. You put together a proposal, and included in that, and I'll help you with that. Included in it will be the application, the underwriting guide, and then we'll go the fully underwritten route. To be frank, this product, I've never used it before. Most of the folks that we want to see don't want it. As all underwritten products are, it does have a kind of a hassle factor. It's you got to do. Well, I'm struggling for a word right now, but you got to do physician's records, and you got to do a medical exam and all of those things. So I got a question. Can the MIB be used for AIDS? The answer is no. I think AIDS and Alzheimer's are the two that will not be allowed, and I believe it might include organ transplants as well. Got another question. Don't forget to check the meds against the list. Yeah, Martin was just mentioning to me yesterday that that we sometimes forget to check our underwriting guide to make sure that all our medications are on the list. So that's something that we're definitely going to talk about in the future, but let me just touch on it briefly. There are going to be situations where you can go through the application. They answer no to every question. You think they're preferred. And what ends up happening is the client is on a medication that is a knockout drug, or it's a drug that automatically grades them, or makes them standard. So over time, you're going to learn the most common drugs that cause us problems. But you can't memorize the underwriting guide, and every drug is not on the underwriting guide. So eventually, you're going to get caught in that trap. So Martin's good advice is simply to make sure that as you record their medications on the application, you're checking against the list to make sure that it doesn't change your underwriting class. All right. Security Care Plan. This is our flagship product. The Security Care Plan is what you're going to use 90% of the time when you're in a house. We use it for ages 40 to 90. Our death benefit can go anywhere from $2,500 up to $35,000. Now, there are limits included in this. Graded plans won't go that high. People of a certain age can't get $35,000. So you need to become familiar with your rate book, because your rate book kind of describes all these limitations to you. It's on the very first or second page of the rate book, which is included in. I've already given every one of you a rate book. I have included it in the. I've included it in the Dropbox, and you can order one from the portal. We have 3 underwriting classes with the Security Care Plan: preferred, standard, and graded. The standard plan is for people who would otherwise be preferred. They've answered no to every question on the application, except they are taking insulin. Now, let me give you a warning. The underwriting guide will lead you to believe that a person is going to be automatically standard if they're on insulin. However, if they are also taking a blood pressure drug, be aware that sometimes underwriting will downgrade that case to a graded underwriting class. And that's a battle that has been fought back and forth between the producers and the underwriters for a long time. And the problem is not that they would rate it graded. The problem is that we don't. Is that the underwriting guide leads us to believe something differently. So there you go. Any questions so far? Okay, the Security Care Plan. We use that with ages 0 to 85. Face amounts can go from $1,000 up to $15,000. There is an accidental death benefit for the first 10 years. It's triple indemnity in some states. We have 3 basic plans of the Security Care Plan. You can choose whole life, 20 pay, or 10 pay. Now, 20 pay is not on the application. You have to write it in yourself, but it is there. We have 3 underwriting classes: select, special, and limited. And my little slide is kind of cut off a little bit, but that's what they are. So to recap, you have 3 plans: whole life, 20 pay, and 10 pay. I love to use this plan for folks in their 30s or below, because we can get the insurance policy paid for, and they can forget about it and never have to worry about it again. And 3 underwriting classes: select, special, and limited. Any questions on the Security Care Plan? Okay, the MIB and the eye care plans. The MIB is used for severe health problems. You use the same application that you use for the Security Care Plan, and I've never written one. I've never come across a situation where we needed it. The good news is that Security National Life's graded plan on the Simple Security Plan is one of the best in the business in terms of pricing and what they will allow. We really are at the top of the pack when it comes to our graded plan. So I haven't found much need for the MIB. The eye care plan, I think I've already beaten that dead horse to death. It's a fully underwritten plan, and if you need to use one, first of all, you've probably got the wrong client. That probably you don't have a final expense client in front of you. But if you decide to go that route, then get with me, and we'll put together a proposal, and I'll walk you through it. Any questions?
Yeah, Steve and Jonathan. On the security care plan, maybe I missed it, but where are their definitions for the select, special, and limited?
It's exactly like the simple security
Preferred,
plan.
standard. Okay.
What happens is you go through the application. The application is set up like a tree. So when you get to the end of the application, you're able to make a decision based on what questions they answered, yes or no, to choose an underwriting class.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. All right. All right. So choosing a product. How do we choose which one of these products we're going to use? We start with their age. If a person is 40 plus, we're probably going to, and they want. I wish all of you guys could see this chart here because it doesn't make much sense. It's just a simple flow chart that allows you to make a decision as to which product you're going to use. The vast majority of our families are going to be in the simple security plan because they're going to be over 40. They're going to want less than $35,000 in coverage, and so the decision is simple security plan. If they are 40 plus and want more than $35,000, they will use the eye care plan. Likewise, persons under 40 who want more than $15,000 in coverage will still use the eye care plan. Persons under 40 who want less than $15,000 in coverage are going to use the security care plan. This is a very simple chart. I don't think all of you can see it, but it will be on the YouTube video later, and it is in the Dropbox right now. You can see it right now in the Dropbox. Just know that I have included a decision tree and as to how to choose a product for your client. I'm going to move along pretty quickly because I've got another presentation I want to show you all, but that's that. So are there any questions over our product selection before I move on with my next presentation? None at
Yeah,
all.
one quick question. Yeah, eye care. Even a $15,000 policy is fully underwritten.
Yeah, we don't
Where
go
does
that low. We don't go that low with eye care. I think it starts at 20,000. So that's that's kind of that's one of the things that makes it a little less attractive to our particular client base.
All right, so everything's fully underwritten. Doesn't matter what the face amount is. All right.
Bingo.
All right.
Bingo. Okay. Any other questions on that? So since we basically sell the simple security plan, that's what we sell. That's what we do is the simple security plan. So let's talk a little bit about how to get that done. And I'm going to unmute everybody so that you can talk to me during this because it's very difficult to teach a presentation or a presentation style in a format like this. Really, the only way to do it, to learn it, is to go out and bang your head against the wall for a month or two like Martin's done, and now Martin is our top producer. So let's see what happens. The basics of selling Security National Life products. We're going to start off talking today a little bit about the sales kit, what you need to be carrying with you in your car and in the house. We're going to talk about what we need to look like. The presentation itself, which all of you have a copy of the presentation. All of you have seen me do it at least once. If not live, then I rehearsed it with you personally. But that's really a poor representation of how the thing goes. Experience is what's going to teach you how to sell this product. Finally, setting appointments. So the sales kit. Here's what I carry with me into the house. I carry a presentation booklet. We have two presentation booklets. We have the roadmap booklet, which you've all seen before, and I have created a brand new one just for us called the Legacy Sales Booklet. It has a couple of different pages in it, and it has a new cover that fits our particular audience a little bit better. Now, remember, right now we're all running internet leads, and I'm doing that on purpose because the funeral home leads are a little bit more difficult to sell. Now, the funeral home leads are the whole reason we exist, so we're gonna sell them and we're gonna work hard at it. But for right now, I'm just trying to teach you guys how to get comfortable with Security National Life, get comfortable with the product, and get some money in your pockets so that you can kind of take the stress off a little bit. The internet leads will continue. I'm not saying we're going to cut them off, but we are going to start using these funeral home leads as soon as I feel that you guys are up to speed. So you will be getting that new presentation booklet. They're done. They're in the production's done. They've got them. They're sending them to my house right now as we speak. Matter of fact, I got a box yesterday. That might be them. So I'll look at it, and then once I get them, I'll mail you guys a stack of them. Door hangers. Door hangers are available for purchase on the portal. Don't leave home without door hangers, guys. It takes 3 minutes at the end of every sale to walk across the street into the 2 houses next door and hang a door hanger. And I probably make $500 or $600 every single month just from doing that. You take a rubber stamp that you buy down at the Walmart, you stamp your agent number on that door hanger, and when they mail that door hanger back, the folks at the home office send it straight to you. They've got your agent number, they know who you are, and they send it straight to you, and it's just free money. It's just free money. You'll get an extra several $100s a month doing that, and I think Martin can attest to that. Is that true, Martin?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. All right. We also have the Legacy Trifolds. Now, all of you, I believe I've given all of you a stack of Legacy Trifolds. If I haven't, shoot me a text later and I'll mail you some. They are just as good as door hangers because you can stamp your agent number on it. It has a mail-in card. However, the good thing is they're free, so you don't have to buy them from the portal like you do the door hangers. Here's the downside. The downside is you got to kind of jam them into the door jamb. They don't hang on the door. So it's a trade-off there. But
it works.
It definitely works. You'll get several $100s a month if you just go across the street and hang a door hanger at every house you do. It's free money. Let's see. Really quickly, I'm going to get off topic right now because I remembered an action item I needed to talk about. Forgot to. Business cards. Martin, we've gotten the template settled for the business cards. You guys, if you need, and you do, all of you need business cards, you're going to need to order them through Alex Matthews over at the home office. Just shoot me an email and I'll forward it to Alex. I think they cost about $30 for your order. Is that about right, Martin?
All right. Well, actually, Alex is having the designer come into her office Monday. She's going to call me and tell me the exact price. But that's what they're waiting on. Finally, the designer to come to the office Monday and finalize everything. Then we'll get our cards.
All right, cool. So we're all the cards are really nice looking. Sounds like on Monday the design process will be finished, and but we don't have our own portal. We're piggybacking on the final expense portal right now, so we can't go out and order these materials the same as the final expense agents can. So right now, just filter it through me. I'll send it over to Alex, and she'll get your order in place for you. Okay, so back on topic. What do we take into the house? We take the Getting to Know You survey into the house. Now, I don't use this anymore. I created the Getting to Know You survey simply so that you'll remember how to, so that I would remember how to ask the right questions so I can decide on an underwriting class. Also, it's a tool for getting referrals. I'm at the point now where I've got the thing memorized, so I just write on the lead. I use the lead to write my presentation and to take notes. You've all seen me do it before. It's a little bit messy, but I have a very methodical process of using the actual lead to to create the presentation, and it's very visual presentation that I use. But for the time being, so that you don't forget anything, I would recommend that you use the Getting to Know You survey. Just put one in your binder and take it into the house with you. Finally, you want to have your stack of leads. I carry every lead I have with me into the house, and that's just a psychological thing that kind of shows that I'm busy. That we're not a fly-by-night operation, and that the experts are here. You are trying to create in the house a scenario that is conducive to making a sale. That's a term I stole from a mentor of mine, and he hammered me on that over and over again. Create an environment that's conducive to the sale. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Part of that is carrying the leads with you. Make sure you've got fresh pens, and make sure you've got your underwriting guide and your rate book with you. Okay. Any questions before I move on? We're burning daylight here, so I need to get through this. All right, useful sales tools. The mobile calculator should be loaded on your phone. Is there anybody that does not know how to load the mobile calculator on your phone? Okay, you should be using it. It's more accurate. I make fewer mistakes when I use the mobile rate calculator on my phone than I do when I flip through the rate book. Maybe you guys are better at it than I am, but I have had a handful of applications come back to me that I was using the rate book, and I just went to the wrong grid and did it wrong, and I lost a couple of those cases because it made the clients angry. So there you go. Make sure you use the mobile rate calculator. The web app. As soon as you get a tablet, use the web app. It's super easy. I've been using it for a month now, and I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. Now, let's talk about the most important thing that you can use as a sales tool, and that is your mental preparation. I think that Martin and Jonathan, and maybe a little bit less of you, Chuck, but you to some extent would agree that I really harp on using rehearsals. Rehearse your phone script. Rehearse the what I call the porch script, the door knocking script to get into the house, and rehearse your presentation over and over again. Mental preparation is what's going to prepare you to make the sale in the house. Would anybody like to add anything to that? Nope. I can tell you this, guys, and I know I'm embarrassing you, Martin, but I'm so impressed with the work you're doing and the progress you've made over the last 6 or 8 weeks that you've been with me. Martin is very dedicated to this portion of the sales process. Martin rehearses the presentation. Martin rehearses the porch script, and he's gotten to the point over the last several weeks where he is very comfortable knocking on that door and getting into the house and making something of it. When you don't do that, it seems like these leads are impossible to sell. It seems like that you're doing everything wrong and the clients don't like you, and you're wasting your time. But none of those things are true. The truth is these leads are incredibly easy to sell if you're prepared. Is that true, Martin? Martin?
He's not prepared.
He's not prepared. Look at him. It is true. I can see Martin. He's still out there. I just can't hear him for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, next slide. The presentation itself. The sale begins before you leave the home, and that's what I was talking about a minute ago. You've got to have your preparation done. Rehearsal is a vital component to your success. Martin, I can see that you're talking, but I can't hear you talking. Something's wrong somewhere. What? Yeah, I can see you, but I can't hear you. All right. Anyway, look the part. Guys, we have fresh haircuts. We shave. We wear professional attire. Once you hit we're trying to get everybody shirts that match. You've all seen my shirt. They look exactly like that. I ordered some for Martin yesterday, and I think that Jonathan, you are qualified for your first shirt as well. Here's how the shirts work. I'm going to give you your first shirt for free. I'm going to give you your second shirt for free once you hit 10 applications, and at that point, you got to buy your own shirts from then on out. So it's a little. Let me give you guys just a little bit of background. There's Security National Life has never done anything like this, and it's a little bit outside the corporate culture. So that's a battle for me to fight. So I would ask that you be patient with me on getting that going. But it's important to me, and I hope it's important to you, that we kind of present a uniform appearance. If you look at our competition, the other companies out there that run leads programs with contracted agents, with exclusive agents, that's how they do it. One of the big things that they build their foundation on is esprit de corps, and uniformity is part of esprit de corps. So no sunglasses when you knock on that door. Okay, I can't tell you how many guys I've seen do that, and it it just looks ridiculous. When you get to the house, be ready. If you've got to get your gear together or make a phone call, don't do it in the person's driveway. Do it before you show up. Pull up into that driveway and get out of the car with all your stuff in one binder ready to go. Knock on the door and smile. Okay? Have a grin on your face when you knock on that door. I think that Martin and Jonathan have both seen me do it, and when I knock on the door, I act like I know these people, and I start making jokes immediately and lightening the mood and kind of building trust. I use a little bit of humor, and I use a little bit of really just I don't know what the right word is, but just kind of an easy personality. I really think that's the best way to describe it. I try to have a very easy personality from the second I knock on the door. All right, so now we've got to get to the kitchen table. In order to get to the kitchen table, we have a front door script. Then we got to figure out what we're going to do once we get in the house. And we have to create an environment of trust and attention. Not my attention, their attention. We need them paying attention to us. Remember that the sales process is it's kind of a psychological tug of war, and you want to. I'm laughing at your question, Jonathan. The answer is I don't know. You have to create an environment where you're the boss. Okay, these folks need a boss, and we are the boss. We're the expert. We're the prize. So when you show up, you've got to have that in your head, and that's the hardest thing to get in this business. It's the hardest mental hurdle that you're going to get over is when you show up at that house, you've got to have the attitude that finally I'm here to save the day rather than will you please buy insurance from me. That's the wrong attitude, and you will fail if you have that attitude. The right attitude is, you're in luck. I came here today to help you. So, number one thing you do once you get into the house and you're sitting at the kitchen table or the couch or whatever, I've shared this with you guys before. Part of establishing kind of the leadership role in the house is choosing where to sit. I have two techniques that I use all the time, and Martin's seen me do this a lot, and I think he would attest that it's very successful. If they ask me to sit at the kitchen table, I ask them if we can sit on the couch. If they ask me to sit on the couch, I ask them if we can sit on. I ask them if we can. Okay, Jonathan, I got it. We'll talk about that some other time. If they ask me to sit at the couch, I ask for the kitchen table. I do those two things every single house I go to. Martin's seen me do it, and it's been very successful. If that situation doesn't present itself where I can ask that question, then I've got a backup kind of demand that I make. If I can't really choose where to sit, then I'll say, hey, can you get me a glass of water? The point is, I want to establish a relationship with the client where they are kind of complying with my requests. And I hope that makes sense to you all. But that's kind of how I go about doing it. Now, we have to establish the why. Here's what I say at every single house I go to. A version of this, it might be a little different because there's always conversation going on. Again, I keep a very easy personality, and I don't do a warm up. I kind of mix the warm up in with the presentation. So I need to know why I'm here today. Why did I come here to see you? Why did you come to my website today? Why did you ask for this information? And now here's the key, guys. You don't let them tell you why. You tell them why. Okay. What we're doing is we're programming our own mind, and we're programming the mind of our clients so that they can understand and get to the decision that they want to make anyway. But you're a stranger in their house, so you have to help them make the decision. Establish the why. Here's how you do it. Mr. Fontenot, most people that come out to my website and fill out all this information for me tell me that they want to make sure that their loved ones will be spared the burden of their final expenses. Now, there are a few who already have coverage, and they're either looking to add coverage or see if they can save some money on the plan that they've got. Which of these reasons is the reason you contacted me? That's it. That establishes a why for the client. It gives them a reason why they asked you to be there, and it reinforces the idea that they did ask you to be there, and it establishes the reason why they asked you to be there today. So you're no longer a stranger that knocked on their door for no reason. Now you're a person, you're a professional who knocked on their door because they asked you to, because they need help. So you established the why. Establishing the why, let me say it one more time, does not mean asking them why. Establishing the why means giving them the why. Are there any questions on that? Martin, I can see that you're talking to me, but I cannot hear you. Why don't you try calling in rather than being on your computer? Or you can type your questions in, and I'll read them out loud. Okay. The presentation. So we start with the benefits. You've all seen me kind of do the presentation before. And look, you're going to have your own kind of style of doing it. My style works for me. But the bottom line is we need to cover a few basic points. One is we need to give them the benefits of our product. And the benefits are that the rates can never be increased. Our coverage can never be reduced or canceled. Benefits begin on the very first day, and they do have a cash value. Okay? You've all got a copy of the presentation that I use in the house, and it's loose. It's a little bit different every time, but I cover the same points every time. So we're going to ask the client, do you know how much funerals cost? Because in establishing the why, we've established that what they're trying to do is make sure that their final expenses don't become a burden to their loved one. Well, the bulk of their final expenses is going to be their funeral. So we're going to ask them, do you know how much funerals cost? And that leads us into a leading question. And the question is, so how much insurance should a person have, Mr. Hendon? And when we get that question, how much insurance should a person have? That's going to lead us to where we want to go. Where we want to go is this. We want to establish a budget for our client. How much insurance should a person have? The answer is an amount that's easy to afford. I did not make this up. I stole it from somebody else, and he stole it from somebody else. So, but it works. I think that really is the key question of the entire presentation. And once you establish the answer, which is, Mr. Hendon, you should have an amount of insurance that is easy to afford. That's going to open the door for you. That's a psychologically that's a tension or pressure valve. It releases the pressure, and now the client kind of starts to get the idea that you're on their side and that you agree with them that insurance is expensive and they're broke and they can't afford it, and you're going to try to help them figure out how to do that. Now, Mr. Short, part of determining how much a person can afford is your health. So I'm going to ask you a few health questions. This is where we get the getting to know you survey out. It's a great little simple layout to help you kind of organize your thoughts on what their health conditions are. It's just divided into two halves so that you can do spouses on the same piece of paper, and you just kind of go through them. And as you're going through them, you're able to ask some simple questions about who their children and their cousins and their brothers and sisters are, and you kind of continue the warm-up process, and you're also planting the seeds for getting referrals. Is there anybody that wants to say anything about that? Nope. Okay. So the presentation continues, and once we've got an idea of what their health looks like, then we can start to talk about what underwriting class they're going to be in. I like to use the terminology good, better, and best. People like that. At least the people that I see seem to like it. Now, good is our graded plan. Standard is our better is our standard plan, and best is our preferred plan. And I just briefly describe how each of those plans works. And I write it down on the paper exactly like I've written it on this slide. And I don't say anything else about it. I just say it exactly like that. And then I tell them what I believe their underwriting class will be. And then we close the sale. We're done at this point. Now, there are a few little tricks and tips that I use. You guys have seen me use the time and money chart that I always draw. That chart is designed to do two things. It's to establish in their minds that funerals cost a lot and that they're going to cost a lot more in the future. What that does is it helps me get a realistic number for how much they can easily afford. So here's how the close goes. Mr. Fontenot, based on what you've told me about your health, I believe you're qualified for our standard coverage. Now remember, we agreed that you should only buy an amount of insurance that you can easily afford. Mr. Fontenot, most people tell me that they can easily afford between $50 and $75 per person. Is that about right for you? And I'm nodding my head when I say this. All those cheesy little sales tricks works. Nod your head when you're saying this. And get out your mobile calculator and work up a couple of quotes for between $50 and $75. And at that point, this is where the sale is made. You're going to have to learn to be flexible. People will want more coverage. They'll want less coverage. They want to spend less money. That's where you start working with them. But you've drawn up a few choices for them, and you start working those choices in pen and ink on your paper, and help involve the client in the process so that they can help you come up with a solution that works for them.
Yeah, I can afford $50 to $75, but United of Omaha will give me the same coverage for $43.
Well, that's true, but United of Omaha's coverage is a 3-year graded benefit, Mr. Fontenot, and what we're offering you is first day coverage. You're qualified for our standard plan. The reason that we have to put you in standard is because you do use insulin. However, when you do the price analysis, our cost is actually much lower than United of Omaha because we're covering you on the very first day. If you were to pass away in the first 3 years of your plan with United of Omaha, you get a 7% interest rate on your money. That means you get all the money that you paid in, which is only going to be, as you said, it's $30 a month. It's only going to be less than $300 per year for those. So if you died right at the end of that 3 years, you'd only get back about $900 plus 700% interest. With our plan, you're qualified for $11,000 in coverage, and if something happens to you next week, you get the entire $11,000. Does that make sense, Mr. Fontenot?
Yeah, because I run into that yesterday. So they have a 3-year graded plan. and then they only give 7% return on the money. That's nice.
That's my memory. I'll double check that, but I believe that's how United of Omaha works. Now, look, Mark can attest to this, and I think you can too. I think you can too, Jonathan. You saw me recommend United of Omaha to someone before, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I actually recommended United of Omaha, and it came down to the point where she said, we got into the conversation, and she said, "Oh, you're a local agent." I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "United of Omaha is only through the mail." She goes, "I know that." And I started explaining our graded plan, and she was listening because I didn't realize that they had a 3-year graded and we had a 2-year graded.
Well, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I think it's 3 years.
Right, and then they only give 7%, we give 10%. So I think she's leaning towards me. I got to call her on Monday because she was going to compare them over the weekend, whatever. But that was all over the phone, actually. But yeah, I was just using that as I recommended it to her. She goes, "Well, I already have a quote from them," and then she actually listened to me based on what I had to say. So I think we have a better product, even though they were a little bit less expensive.
Yeah. Somewhere around here, I've got one of their advertisements, and I'll try to find it and find out exactly what their quote is. But I don't go in there and tell her that, hey, Stephen Lowry said, because I can't remember right off the top. I had a stroke, Jonathan. Are you sure she's going to be graded?
Yes.
She might get a better deal from them. She might actually get a better deal from them. I very rarely run into somebody who has a quote from somebody else, but if you do, you might not get the deal. The bottom line is the best insurance is the one that you have the opportunity to buy, and in her case, she's had the opportunity to buy United of Omaha, and it might actually be a better deal for her. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. This is now, if somebody's on a graded plan, I know they're covered for accident from day one, but let's say they've been cancer free. What if they die of a heart attack that's not related to the cancer? Is it still?
Yeah, basically,
premium?
Every single death in the insurance world is going to be classified as natural causes or accident. Graded plans pay full benefit for accidents.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's just a 2-year contestability period for anything of natural causes. Gotcha.
No, it's not. It's not contestability. Contestability is a whole different thing. It's just limited benefit. Okay. So let me quickly explain the difference between contestability and limited benefit. Limited benefit is a contractual agreement between you and the client that if they die of natural causes in the first 2 years, they only get their return of premium plus interest. Contestability applies to every single life insurance policy in the world. Doesn't matter what company writes it, and that says that in the first 2 years, if you die of natural causes, they can contest your death benefit by making sure that you told the truth on your application. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, okay. All right. So at that point, we write the application. I think everybody's caught up. We are going to get down to the quote. We're going to find the right quote that is an amount that the client can easily afford, and we're going to write the application. Now, wrapping it up. This is important, and this is a big weakness of my own. This is something that I'm not good at, but we have to love on the client after the sale, okay? So in a few days, I'm going to call you, and I'm going to let you know how the underwriting went. Here's my card, and then do it, okay? A few days later, you need to call the client, let them know how the underwriting went. You need to quickly follow up with your pending requirements. This is something that the guy, my boss, has been reminding me of a lot lately. We've had several policies here in the legacy division that have gone into the pending file for one reason or the other. I'm probably worse at that than anybody is, and And we need to get a handle on that. We need to quickly follow up when we've got a pending requirement. We need to call the client and let them know that they have been approved. We need to send a thank you card and send them a birthday card every year. And we need to farm for referrals every 6 months. Give them a call. Hey, Mr. Fontenot, how you doing? Just wanted to check on you. How's that gout treating you? Tell me about your brother. Okay, farm for referrals every 6 months or so. Every time I do that, I end up making several $1,000, and it cost me half a day's work. So that's it, folks. That's kind of the basics of the presentation. Obviously, a presentation is a complicated thing, and I can't teach it in a 1 hour phone call. I can't even teach it in 3 or 4 days of ride-alongs. You can watch me do it several times. Martin has seen me do it a lot, and it still took him weeks before he started to get comfortable with it. Martin is starting to turn the corner, and he's starting to become a pro. Chuck, I'm going to be riding with you week after next. Jonathan, I'm going to be doing another ride along with you probably the same week. Are there any questions right now about presentations? In fact, I'm going to open it up. We've all got a couple of weeks under our belt, so we're running out of time. I'll spend as much time as you guys want me to, but the presentation for today is over. So for right now, let's just do a little question and answer. If you got to go. Otherwise, let's just talk about business. So I don't have any stories to tell at the moment because I've been kind of out of the loop.
Are you going to put the presentation on YouTube also?
I've been really, yes, the answer to your question is yes. I just haven't done it yet. And I'm kind of trying to decide what the best way to go about it is. And I kind of think what I'm going to do is have one of the guys that are close to me, either Martin or Jonathan, meet me at the office over in Mandeville and play the, role play it so that I can do the presentation completely and make a good YouTube video out of it. But the answer to your question is yes. The long answer is I want to make sure that there's high quality. You can get something out of the presentation. What I can't do is take a video camera into a client's house and show you how it works in real life. So there you go. I hope that answers your question, Chuck.
It does.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Now let's talk about some important issues. The shirts are the shirts dry fit? I don't know if they are or not. I'm wearing one right now. It seems pretty dry to me. However, we have a comment that the collars stay down longer, and and there you go. So, Martin, are you on? Can you say something? See if I can hear you. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. I can see you talking every time you talk, Martin, but I can't hear what you're saying. So if you have a question, you're going to need to type it up. So, Jonathan, yesterday you ran into this case with United of Omaha. Here's my opinion of what happened in that house. Not knowing anything about it, how you went about it, just based simply on what the lady said to you. She was intrigued that you were a local agent rather than a mail house somewhere, which is what United of Omaha is. You had a couple of competitive disadvantages. Here's the biggest one. United of Omaha, everybody knows. Everybody knows who United of Omaha is, and because they know who Mutual of Omaha is, and they've seen the Wild Kingdom and that guy Jim chasing lions through the savannah and all that. So name recognition is important. That's why McDonald's still advertises 20 times a day on every TV channel. Name recognition just kind of drives it into your head that this is the product you want. However, it's a testament to your abilities that you were able to stay in the house that long. And I would imagine as you get a little more exposure to this particular product, you would probably make that sale, because I would have focused on that whole local agent thing. Yes, ma'am. If it's worth an extra $10 to you to have a guy that lives down the street that you can call and I can come see you, then yeah, pay the extra $10. And those are the exact words that I use when I run into that situation, and I sell about half of them. So it does work out. Anything else? Does anybody else have any stories from this week? Chuck, were you able to get out on the road at all?
I was able to go to one, but it didn't work out.
Okay, didn't work out. Is there anything you'd like to share about it, or see, maybe why it didn't work out, or what happened?
Well, I mean, it was just a understanding issue. I'd rather just talk about it when we're alone.
Okay, all right, yeah. Please, guys, don't let me put you on the spot. If I'm putting you on the spot, do what Chuck did, and I'll shut up and move on. But I will say this: the one of the big things that we're going to get out of these conversations is we're all going to be able to learn from each other. So there's that. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to talk about today? Martin, you're going to have.
It's not related.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, please.
I was going to say it's not related to a sale, but you had mentioned, which I like and I used to do in the past, is birthday reminders. Do we have anything through Security National that will let us know if we have a birthday coming up? Like,
no.
Since we submit the apps, so that's just something we have to do on our own.
Yeah, I keep a spreadsheet. I know whose birthday this month is coming up this month, and I send them all a card. That's it.
All right, and do we send, as a company, since it's a whole life product, do we send out an annual summary?
Yes.
About premiums paid, the little bit of cash value they do have, and so forth?
Yes.
And does that come on policy anniversary, or does that come on calendar year anniversary, like this January?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I'll find out.
All right. Not that it's real important, and I'm sure it's only a little bit of cash value, but if, we can let them know that, if you have any questions about your annual statement, don't hesitate to give me a call, or I'll call you whenever you get your annual statement. Just another way to touch base with them.
Yeah. We do send out annual statements. I don't know when they go out. I would imagine it's calendar year. I'll find out.
Okay. All right.
That's a good question, though. All right. Martin, I don't see you piping up. You said something about being old school, which is, well, you're older than me. But all right, guys. Anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I will bring the video camera whenever you come ride with me, and then we'll give them some live shots about how you are in action. Okay.
All right. And you as well. You're an experienced salesman, and probably more experienced than I am, and so we're all learning from each other here, guys, and that's why it's important to share. So Martin is saying that he likes the idea of birthday cards and thank you cards, and he does this, and I guarantee you Martin does it. Martin's extremely conscientious in the way he goes about his business. And he's going to make $11,000 or $12,000 this month as well. So keep that in mind. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to end it here unless anybody's got anything else. Okay. Look for the video. Go out to Dropbox. Join Dropbox if you haven't done so already. When you do, you're going to find that there's an invitation there for you to join my shared folder. Later on today, I will have or at some point this weekend, I'll have the YouTube video posted up there so you can go and watch this entire presentation on YouTube. And It'll be password protected. I ask that you keep it to yourselves. All right. Have a good weekend, guys. And Monday morning, you'll all get fresh leads, and we'll go out and sell some insurance. Okay. Anybody else? Save rounds. Nope. Bye.
Bye. Nice haircut. I think we're the last two on here. Right? Yeah, see you.